Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video we got another tier list, another one that's been a fan suggestion for a while now. I finally got around to doing it, and it is the official UFC physique tier list, okay? Now, we can all agree, you gotta be pretty fit to do MMA. Like, wrestlers are, on average, the strongest type of people I've ever met. But, like, they're not gonna be the most cut out of all UFC fighters, as we're gonna see in a minute. But we also got some people like Derrick Lewis, Tai Tuivasa, and Ben Askren, who they would be in our bag of milk category for like that type of body build. Before we begin, please consider a like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. If you have a suggestion for a tier list, put it in the comment section below. With that out of the way, let's get started. Our first fighter is going to be Isreal Adesanya. Now, honestly, I'm probably going to put it in our meh category. Mostly because, yeah, every once in a while, he'll look like a pretty imposing figure. I think he's bigger than a lot of people, like, would think. Like, I think Isreal Adesanya, yeah, he looks skinny on TV, but if you were to actually meet the guy, he looks a bit more imposing. But I can't confirm nor deny that. I'm going to put him in meh. Like, probably like our C tier. Yeah, meh. Like, decent. He showed up one, was looking pretty strong, but he also had Nganou. That's a point off immediately. Not Chad. Definitely a meh. Not quite our bag of milk in, like, pathetic category. Next up, Volkanovski. Now, you're going to see throughout the tier list, there's a lot of people that didn't quite make the cut because a lot of UFC fighters are built very similar. And Volkanovski has a build similar to, like, a Chad Mendes. There's a lot of people that I like to say got that, like, meatball build. Like, they look very difficult to armbar. Like, yeah, that would be our Volkanovski. Volkanovski has, like, our buff meatball build. And, honestly, I would put that above Isreal's build. I'd rather have the build of Volkanovski than an Isreal Adesanya. That's just personal preference. Not an aesthetic, but I would definitely call Volkanovski like a Chad build. Next up, Aljamain Sterling. Okay. I actually want to defend mine. Aljamain Sterling. When I'm about to make a controversial one, that's when I'll look up a fighter. Bro's pretty fit, okay? Aljamain Sterling, I'm going to put in aesthetic. I mean, yeah, bro was 175 pounds, cut all the way down to bantamweight. I mean, like, you got to be fairly fit. And there's a lot of people, they look fit in the weigh-in, and then they just pack that weight right on. Aljamain didn't have that courtesy. You could tell that weight kit was difficult, but you're pretty aesthetic when you're doing it. I'm going to put them there. Not quite like our peak level performance. There's only going to be a few people that make this cut. But, yeah, Aljamain's going to be in our aesthetic, our A tier, though. Ben Askren. Bag of milk, dude. If Snoop Dogg himself calls you a bag of milk build, I mean, like, there's not a lot of defending you I can really do. It would be funny if he came into MMA and just ragdolled everybody like we thought he was going to do, but that didn't happen, so there's no defending that. So, yeah, Ben Askren's going to be in our D, E tier, our placeholder, our bag of milk category beneath the meh. Beneil Dariush. Another, yeah, that's going to be our meh. Beneil Dariush. Let's look that up again. I don't think he's ever... He doesn't look like a weight cut hurts to do. Yeah, like, he has, like, that 30-year-old dad build. Like, nothing really special about the guy. But you could tell he carries some power. I mean, like, we saw what he did to Gamrot. So I'm probably, yeah, going to put him in meh. At least Isreal looked a bit stronger than Beneil did. Just off, like, imposing level. But yeah, Beneil came up to me, I'd probably be like, oh, yeah, that's just somebody's dad. Like, Beneil also looks pretty old. Like, I would not, if I ever walked up on Beneil, I would never think that he was a professional fighter. But bro can crack. Like, all respect, bro can crack. And I really like him at lightweight, but physique-wise, this doesn't make the cut. Anthony Smith, okay. When I held out a suggestions, okay, of who should be on this one, nobody said Anthony Smith. However, the reason I put him on here is people did bring up that light heavyweight has the best physiques in all of MMA. Like, this isn't terrible, but then when you compare him to, like, a Jiri Prochazka, but, like, this is not gonna be in, like, our Chad and aesthetic category. This is, like, average 20-year-old, honestly. Like, in terms of, like, maybe I'm judging it too harshly off the tattoos. If this was a tattoo tier list, just know Anthony Smith would be in my absolute E tier. It's just personal. I hate it when people have different styles of tattoos that just don't bode well. These are actually shit. I hate that's a different rant. Horrifically average, meh. Bo Nickal. Okay. Bo Nickal, for being like a collegiate champion, like an absolute like mother effer of wrestling, does not have like a crazy build. And I think part of it is, I think he fights near his natural weight class. I think if he went down to like a 170, he would kill himself to make that weight. I think this is more his natural walk around. And it's going to be like a Sean Strickland. Yeah, he's strong like a unit, but very, very average. Don't worry, these are going to fill up very quickly. But yeah, in that meh category. Benoit Saint Denis. I might actually need to jog my memory really quick. I'm trying to remember why I put him on here. Benoit. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Benoit Saint Denis. Okay, yeah, Benoit Saint Denis just looks like a unit, dude. It's gonna be in. Yeah, I put him above meh. I put him in that Volkanovski level of, like, this shad build. He looks like he can crack. That's all I'm really gonna say. And if you look like... Yeah. I don't think I need to justify my pick. I think most people would put him in here. Just not quite in that super aesthetic. Definitely not a peak, but definitely above our average and below average. Clay Guida. Okay. I put Clay Guida here for a very specific reason. And I'm not specifically making fun of Clay, because bro's a legend. But Clay Guida has the box build, okay? Like, it is... He's basically a square on legs. Like, this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of MMA fighters that have this weird build. Like, Tony Ferguson is starting to get it. It might be just an older person thing, because Jim Miller also have it. I don't know the medical term on it. But what I'm talking about, they're like just a box on top of two legs. And yeah, you look difficult to armbar, but... Let me take a look again. Not a Chad. I'd put him above, like, a Anthony Smith, but, like, honest with you, Beneil Dariush looks like he would hit harder than a Clay Guida build. And Israel... I don't know. Israel's a tough one. I might move him later on. Conor McGregor. Okay, Conor McGregor, his tattoos carried his entire build. Conor actually has a pretty weird build. Boom. Conor. Okay. Yeah, Conor has always had, like, a more weird build. Like, this would probably be, like, the strongest looking Conor's ever been in his entire career. You know, outside of the Juice era, but he hasn't fought during there, and I can't judge there. Otherwise, TJ Dillashaw would be at the very top of our list. Bro looks like a unit right now. But judging off this, like, not a crazy physique. Like, stronger chest, stronger shoulders, arms, but, like, there's nothing going on in this abdomen here, and I think that's why he put a lot of tattoos over it. Tattoos kind of carry his physique. He's probably going to be at the end of our B tier, our end of our Chad, just slightly above. He looks a little bit more imposing than our Beneil Dariush, but at the end of the day, it's just a little bit more imposing. Let's get a good example of what like a peak physique. That's going to be Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa. It's actually insane that he hasn't tested positive for something. Like, it makes me mad that bro hasn't tested positive. He was the most tested athlete the entirety of last year. Didn't test positive once, okay? That amazes me, because how can you be built like this and not test positive? I don't know how... Like, don't get me wrong, I understand how he's missing weight. Because Paulo Costa shouldn't be making 185. People talk about, oh, Alex Pereira shouldn't be able to make it. Paulo Costa is dying trying to make weight. Like, as far as performance, yeah, maybe he has some problems here and there, but when he makes weight, bro can crack and have some wars with Yoel Romero, another person on our list, and we'll get to him when we get there. But, yeah, I'm going to say in our peak to our top of aesthetic, we'll see how everything fills up later on. Next one, Derrick Lewis. Listen, aesthetic-wise, and in terms of like this how it looks, I gotta put him here. I'm gonna put Ben Askren beneath him in terms of just being a little bit worse build. But like it or not, this is the optimal build for knockout power. Like Derrick Lewis just has that build to put people unconscious. Like, he's not gonna get any contracts for modeling, but he's also gonna keep getting contracts to knock people out. I think he's going to continue doing it. But that doesn't save you from our bag of milk category, but at least this bag of milk can crack Ben Askren. Next up is Drew Dober. Okay, Drew Dober. I believe Drew Dober holds the record for heaviest lightweight on fight night. And this was, they weighed him the night that he fought Islam Makahchev. It was 185 pounds. I could be wrong, but I know Drew Dober holds the record right now. If it decides to load. Okay, I guess we'll just do it like this. I would say Drew Dober's like above average. Like above average build. Yeah. Yeah. I'll put him in our Chad. I'll put him in our Chad. And yeah, I'll put him above a Benoit Saint Denis. Yeah. It's... One more time. Nah. Aesthetic. He barely makes aesthetic. He's just a little bit above our Volkanovski and our Connors. He barely makes it. I might move him down. But for now, I am comfortable with where he's at. Edson Barboza. Okay. Edson Barboza might be juicing. Edson's looking pretty crazy right now. Especially for fighting at featherweight. Like... Barboza. There we go. Yeah, Edson Barboza is wild looking. Like, he looks like he would kick you extremely hard. And you do get an extra point for, like, just not having, like, 0 legs. Like, if somebody were to have, like, a Deontay Wilder or a John Jones-esque build, yep. Like a John Jones-esque build, I would knock a point just because there's no muscle on them legs. But Edson Barboza is just strong all the way around. I'll put him in our aesthetic. Yeah, I'll put him top of our aesthetic, actually. Like, bro has the optimal kickboxer build, optimal Muay Thai build. And for that, like, not quite peak yet, but very, very close. You'll understand what I mean by that in a second. Francis Ngannou. Yeah, no. Yeah, Francis Ngannou, yeah, no, dude, he was the scariest looking human being for a while. If you, like, he was like the caricature you made up in your head where like, yeah, I'm going to be having my first amateur fight. Who are you fighting? Oh, Francis Ngannou. Yeah, man, I don't know. I haven't really seen any pictures of the guy, but he has like only one amateur fight, yeah. And then you see the dude and he's built like... He's built like I don't know if you remember the old like Raquise clip. I might play a little clip of that. This is what I imagine Raquise look like. Yeah, for that yeah, Francis Ngannou is gonna go in our peak category. He also held the record for hardest punch in the UFC. Now rumor is Joe Pyfer beat the record. Joe Pyfer's not on this list. We're not going off punch power, but Francis Ngannou for having the optimal build for just being scary goes in our peak. Rafael Fiziev. This is another one I wasn't planning on putting on purely because I just forgot. But, yeah, he was a suggestion by you guys. And, yeah. You guys were right, bro. Rafael Fiziev is scary. Why am I having a dyslexic attack right now? Okay. I know that's wrong. Whatever. You know, Rafael Fiziev has probably the... I know I said the same thing for Edson Barboza. Same thing with him. The optimal Muay Thai build. Trains at Tiger Muay Thai all the time. Yeah, I'll put him in our aesthetic category. He makes our A tier, just a little bit above Chad level. Just, yeah, that's fair. Jamahl Hill. Okay, now I need to see this before I get mean, just so y'all can be with me on this. Yeah, dude, what do you want me to put him in? Like, don't get me wrong, Jamahl Hill also has the optimal build for power. Just unreal power in that division. But at the same time, he ain't no Kamaru Usman. In terms of, like, physique. He fights near his natural weight class. That's just how it is. He barely has to cut weight, and it helps his chin. It helps him fighting at that division. However, honestly, yeah. I'll put him at, like, the top of Bag of Milk. Again, optimal build for putting people in conscious. But not optimal build for really anything else. Ian Garry. Let me think about this one. This one's going to be tough. Vegan build. Yeah. This is like the optimal protein vegan build. And just because of that, I kind of have to put him at like... I'm going to put him there for now. Yeah, no, I'm satisfied with where I put him. Top of Matt, I would actually say Israel's a little bit more imposing of a figure than Ian Garry is. In terms of just strength. Yeah, get back there, Ian. Next up is Ilia Topuria. I need to jog my memory on this one. If you can't tell, this is how I do this all in one take. I'll put him in aesthetic. I'll put him above a Chad. He just has like a better build than Volkanovski. Like if you were to choose like a create a character, you would try to look more like Ilia Topuria. Ilia looks like the character you used to create in like UFC Undisputed. Like he's your stereotypical MMA fighter look. Yeah, like crazy, cool tattoos, decent build. Yeah. Like, he's built like he would hit you really, really hard, and he does. Jiri Prochazka. Jiri Prochazka's a Chad, dude. Top of Chad. I didn't realize just how big of a dude Jiri is until I saw the face-off between Jiri and Pereira. Like, they are similar size, and I thought Alex Pereira would at least tower. Oh, yeah. And Alex might be one of the few people in the UFC that lies about his height, but he's actually taller than what he says. Because he's almost as tall as Tyson Fury, who is reportedly 6'7", and I don't understand how that works. But Yuri's a pretty strong-looking dude, yeah. I think top of Chad is a fair one. Islam Makahchev. Now, part of this is because he cut so much weight to make 185, which is such a weird thing that he brags about, like, being a weight bully. I know people are going to say, well, does he really? It's like, yeah, he kind of does. He was talking about Alex, how he'd be more hydrated, and you can see it, dude. Like, he has the mountain strength. He has the strength of the mountain with him when he's grappling with people. I'm going to put him in our aesthetic. I mean, probably has the weakest case for being aesthetic of everybody here. Definitely in a bottom. You could justify putting him in Chad, but, like, that's a difficult one. Kamaru Usman. Now, Kamaru Usman would be in our peak. But I'm going to put him at the top of our aesthetic. Actually, right next to Edson Barboza. Because let me show you something. Let me see. Kamaru Usman legs. Kamaru Usman has some spindly ass legs, bro. He's just like a piece of muscle. Little legs. That is it. Like, bro has John Jones-esque legs, but at least Kamaru has like some... Actually, I think Jones has, like, stronger quads than he does. This is actually kind of like... This is the build of a guy that can't walk on sidewalks and can't really go upstairs. And that's what Kamaru has said multiple times. His knees are absolute, like, destroyed. Upper body and everything, terrifying. Lower body, not good. Not good at all. Yeah, I'm going to say in our aesthetic, just misses out on peak because his legs are gone. Strickland. Okay. This one sounds like a lot of people are going to say either meh or bag of milk, but Strickland's been looking like a unit lately. And I'm not going to be judging his 170. That's just not fair. Strickland looks like an imposing person. I'm going to say Strickland, just because of how much force is behind him, I'm probably going to put him at the bottom of Chad. I might even put him above our Conor. Like, Strickland looks more imposing than a lot of people give him credit for in terms of, like, if that man is walking you down in the octagon, I understand why Israel is worried that this man's going to knock him down. Purely because, imagine this walking you down. Yeah. Chad. Jared Cannonier. Okay, funny story. The person who actually suggested this on my TikTok was Sam Alvey, which is really funny, by the way. Jared Cannonier, he rated as second, and I understand why. He earns the name Kill a Gorilla, okay? Bro, this is a scary human being. He went from this to this. Like, yeah, bro. Honestly, probably peak. Yeah, our peak of aesthetic. Not quite here. There's one more person that I think will be here. And I will justify it and I will defend it to the grave why he deserves to be here more than any person in aesthetic. We'll get to there in a second. Johnny Walker. Okay, Johnny Walker's a dude I think balloons up in between, like, our weigh-in and actually fighting. Johnny Walker, UFC. I forget every single time I Google him. Okay, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's such a big dude, man. Like, he's a person that I think could do decent at heavyweight if his chin wasn't gone. When I ever get to the UFC chin tier list, understand, Johnny Walker is guaranteed a spot at the very bottom, because bro's chin is dust at this point. Jamahl Hill did it, amateur career did it, and now Ankalaev did it. But physique-wise, not a good picture. That's fucking dangerous. I'm gonna say our top of our Chad. A little bit more imposing than him. Not quite as actually. Nah. You know what? You know what? I'll be nice. He beats out Islam Makahchev. Islam Makahchev might be down here. He beats out our Islam in terms of being aesthetic. Yeah, that's a fair one. Might even, yeah, he beats out our Ilia too. Yep. I'm cool with this one. Brian Ortega. You give jiu-jitsu a bad name, brother. Like, okay, let's look at this build. Like, yeah, no, there's nothing to write home about. I'm sorry, this is... It's a good thing he fucks people up on the ground, because if his grappling was at the same level of his striking, you would think that this is just a surfer bro just coming on in and doing a quick fight once in a while. Brian Ortega's definitely going to be in our... Am I mean enough to put him in bag of milk? Yeah, he's hogging up a ranking spot despite not fighting anybody in the last year. Gonna get absolutely pieced up by Yoel Rodriguez. Yeah, bag of milk. Yeah. Tai Tuivasa. Again, optimal build for putting people in conscious. Seems like a cool dude. Would be at the top of my likable fighter tier list. But he's gonna be at the bottom. Not quite the bottom. I'll actually put Jamahl Hill above our Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa's bet would be second to Ben Askren in terms of bag of milk build. But yeah, I would say that this is a pretty fair ranking. And our final guy is Yoel Romero. This is the guy that I said I would defend to the grave. Okay. Yoel Romero has the most wild build I have ever seen. And he came into the UFC almost in his 40s, being built like this. What type of human being is built like this? I will never understand. Like, let me see if I can find a picture of him being young. Was he always built like this? Or was this something where, like... Yeah, no, always terrifying. Like, his face changed a little bit. His body is more or less has always been the same. Absolutely terrifying build. You know where he's going, dude. You know where the soldier of God is going, and he's marching his ass all the way up to the top. Probably our most peak level physique in the entirety of the UFC. I don't want to go all the way back. I know some people are going to say some fighters that could make this list back in the day, but Yoel Romero deserves a spot on here. Joe Rogan told a story where bro fractured his orbital, and it healed on the way of going to the hospital. Not fully, but already started. That doesn't happen unless you have like a genetic experiment type of build. And at the end of the day, I do believe if Yoel Romero came into the UFC at like 25, he would absolutely destroy everybody. Bro came from like that Cuban experiment. Like, you have to put him up here, dude, with our Francises and our Paulo Costas. That is just a wild story and build for MMA. Alright, we've made it through the ones that I have chosen. Now we're going to be going through, this is going to be the ones that were suggested when I posted this on my TikTok story. And these were the ones that got repeated a lot. And I understand why now. Leon Edwards, he went viral for having the best physique. He's on the thumbnail of this video. A lot of you thought, where was he while watching this video? Leon Edwards is in our S tier. He's the only fighter, outside of maybe Paulo Costa, to go viral for how crazy his physique was. Especially now. And Leon Edwards just does have a crazy build. And yeah, Sage Northcutt's also going to be up there. But Leon Edwards, that is a wild build to have for MMA. And bro also has just some crazy leg build for, like, throwing leg kicks. Like, yeah, no, I don't have to explain it. Bro's in our peak category. Daniel Cormier. You know what? This is where you get out of the bag of milk. You become a meh. This is the optimal build for grappling. When Daniel Cormier gets on top of you, you're not getting out of that unless your name's John Jones. Daniel Cormier has fought his way out of bag of milk category. Light heavyweight Daniel Cormier is definitely in our meh. Marlon Moraes. I'm going to be real with you. This was the one I forgot. I wasn't going to put him on here until I looked through my story. And then I remembered this unit. Dude, there is no difference in thickness from his forearm to his bicep and tricep. I don't even know how human beings can be built like that, let alone, like, compete at a high level. Marlon Moraes, yeah, no, his career kind of went down near the end, and his chin just left him. But I'm going to say he's probably going to be in our top 3 of aesthetic. Not quite like in our peak category. He was a mother effer in his prime. I just can't put him up here. I just can't. Because there's already a few people that are going to go up there. Well, one person that's going to go up there. You'll see. Alistair Overeem. You know what? When people said they wanted to do Alistair, I assume you guys meant UBEREEM. And UBEREEM is in peak, okay? There's no getting out of that. Now, he's a vegan now, so yeah, you kind of have to put him down in like our Chad and aesthetic. Right now, not the best. UBEREEM is definitely in our peak category with biggest monsters ever in MMA. Another people suggested Nate and Nick Diaz. I just chose Nate. Meh. Listen, Nate Diaz is such a gangster. Bro can be an actual soy boy and nobody will question it. He's a vegan, built like a vegan. Nobody questions it. He's a gangster. Nobody's going to say that to his face. But you're still going in meh. You're still going behind Daniel Cormier, just build-wise. I'm sorry. I don't think I need to justify it. Sage Northcutt. Yeah, no, let me explain. I will give Sage Northcutt credit, because imagine being built like this and fighting in the early 2000s. You don't have to fight. You don't have to be fighting. You could easily do movies. There's no reason that you should be fighting. You get points for that. Not quite peak performance, because Bro clearly didn't work his jaw enough because, bro was getting cracked. So Sage Northcutt's probably going to go in our top of our aesthetic. Yeah, that's fair. He's probably the most aesthetic fighter in the entirety of MMA, this period. This isn't quite peak performance like these monsters of human beings are. And that ends our fan selection segment. I'll probably do this for all my other tier lists. This one's pretty fun. It helps my engagement with you guys. And you guys have really good suggestions. This tier list is better because of it. And I do believe that's going to be it for the video. If you enjoy this content, please consider like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. And if you have a tier list you want me to do, put it in the comment section below. And with that out of the way, adios, guys.